My VA is specific to the work that I'm required to do. He doesn't make phone calls and call clients. He can't do filing in the office, those sort of things, but anything electronic he does.
I too see so much benefits with them. Like I find, because a lot of people worry about their language and communication, and I just don't see any of that because I've just been able to reap the benefit.
If I've got a client meeting that he's to be part of, we book that in. If we've got urgent stuff, there's a way to communicate as well. If I've got something urgent, I can workplace call them straight away in a video chat and fix it.
If you're a coach running a business, coaching business, or any type of coaching business, then this video is perfect for you. Hi, it's Linh Podetti here, founder and CEO of Outsourcing Angel. Today's guest is Simon Harris, business coach, also known as the Business Alchemist, who I've known for many years, and he has also coached my husband's business before. Today, we're going to discuss how he's been able to grow his business coaching business with his Filipino VA and how you too can leverage on the power of outsourcing. He explained why he was hesitant at the beginning to hire a VA and eventually taking the leap, as well as sharing with you the types of tasks he gets his VA to do to help his clients in his coaching business. Hi, Simon. So today I would love to pick your brain around VAs. Well, that's my love. All my life, all I know is VAs and outsourcing. But what's interesting today is I actually want to ask someone like yourself who's a business coach, and how has a VA really helped you in your business? So Simon, first question for you is, when did you first hear VA and what did you even think of them when you first heard about it?
Can I be really honest? I heard about the concept of a VA. I was running my business out of Sydney, and I had an operations or general manager running most of the business for me. And she came to me with this concept of a virtual assistant. And I thought it was interesting. I thought, why aren't you doing that work? And what work will they do? And I said, look, if you're interested, don't tell me, just go get yourself a VA, it's fine, I don't mind. I was a little bit reluctant, to be honest. I thought it was a bit of a tossy thing to do. I'm employing you to do that job, why aren't you doing it? And I didn't speak to this person that we hired VA. I didn't speak to her. This was back in 2010, I'm gonna say. So it's a long time ago now. And week by week, I kept seeing really interesting upgrades on our management reports that came through. There was work that was just getting done. I'd give someone a task and it would come back an hour later, it was done. And I said to my general manager, have we got a whole bunch more support staff? I don't know. She goes, yeah, we've got this lovely VA in the Philippines. And I started so that I kind of reluctantly let her play the game with the VA. And only once she'd been on board for a month or two did I really get, oh my God, this person's like ridiculously clever. And they're snappy and they just get stuff done. And all of a sudden, my general manager is now working on much more important things than data entry and doing reporting and so on. I never sought out to get a VA at all. In fact, I was a little bit against it, but my general manager, she was very convincing. And we went down the path and only had, as I said before, once she's in the business for a month or two, did my light bulb go on, holy crap, this is quite clever.
I'm surprised when you said, like, what are you going to be doing? So were you not aware that she was so busy already that she couldn't handle all the work?
I'm not a very hands-on person manager-wise. Go do your job. If you're caught, let me know. If you need help, let me know. But I don't need to know that on the disc profile, I'm a high D. I knew that she did a great job, but I didn't realize how much she was taken down by doing mundane, repetitive tasks. Talking about data entry into spreadsheets, your marketing manager gives you a report, that's got to be put into the monthly, all that stuff. I wasn't aware of how long she was taking to do mundane related work. And the fact when she started to be free up and she was doing work that I always wanted her to do, but she never got to, was me going, now I understand the value. Yeah.
And at that time you had her, and then now you're also running your own coaching business and you also have a VA. Tell me more about what is your current VA doing for you in your coaching business?
A lot of my clients actually ask the question, what does your VA do? And I think my VA is specific to the work that I'm required to do. He doesn't make phone calls and call clients. He can't do filing in the office, those sort of things, but anything electronic he does. When I've got a new client coming on board, there's a certain functions I have to do, but there's a whole bunch of automations that he has put in place. At day 6, this email goes and so on and so on. So I'll record the video clearly and then he'll then edit it and then put it into the sequence and then put it into HubSpot and away it goes. all of the client reminders for their coaching sessions. They go out 1 week before and 1 day before. One's an email, one's a text reminder. So he's automated that process. I run a LinkedIn campaign of connections and booster messages, all sorts of things. He does all of it. We grow by about 12 to 15 connections per day. And he manages that whole process. If I've got editing work, I've created a document, I'll get the nuts and bolts, I'll shoot it across to Reggie. He'll then put it into our style guide and it gets stored or gets put away. We run a communications platform called Workplace. You're probably aware of it.
Yeah, Facebook Workplace. Yep.
Yeah, it's owned by Facebook, but it's not. It replaced about 6 different platforms that we use, including Slack and Vimeo and Facebook and all of those things. And he kind of administers the back end of that with new clients coming in. If we're running events, he'll build the landing page, he'll build the Eventbrite page, or put it now in Workplace, he'll do all the marketing based on last year's stuff that we did, he'll refresh it and put new pictures. I lend them out to clients who've got a job that they don't need a VA full-time, they just want someone with 2 or 3 hours. I'll create a project, we'll do a Zoom session with the client, and he'll then run the project for them and hand it back to them. There's no end to the talent that this young man has. He's been with me for about 6 years now. He's very, very clever. It's just a wonderful part of the team.
Amazing. And when you hired him, he obviously didn't know everything. You basically trained him, right? What did you originally hire him for? And then how did you kind of upskilled him to the point now that he just pretty much does everything in the business?
Like any employee, whether they sit here in your office or whether they're in your Melbourne office or whether they're overseas, we originally hired Reggie to office manager, got poached, or actually no, she left to go and live in Queensland. And we thought, oh, well, we need some support. So she actually trained Reggie up in the beginning. And then we've just, as replaced her essentially, and as we've gone through the years, we've just added more and more capability because they're more and more trained. We've created more and more systems. We record everything we do and it goes into either Workplace, our knowledge base, or it goes into Trello or wherever we decide to put it. We started off very small and we've just grown and grown and grown and grown as his capabilities have grown as well.
Yeah, so you really did put a lot of time in training, and I hear that you even do video tutorials and instructions. Any tips around, like, I guess sometimes clients think that I'm just going to hire a VA and they're just going to, from day one, take everything and I'm just going to sit there. And that's not the reality. The reality is that you as an employer also need to invest in. It's like you want to take out the results, you got to care about what you input. Any advice around training and instructions and systems, etc.?
Yeah, we've got a kind of an on-ramping process we've actually delivered that for our clients who do get VAs, either individually or through you or wherever. We love to set up a meeting rhythm. Reggie and I have a 2:00 on a Monday. It's the 2 hours or 3 hours behind, depends upon the daylight savings times. And we sit together and I've got a meeting agenda that's the same every single week. We discuss these 6 topics. We run through it and to make sure everything's on track. If I've got something urgent, I can Workplace call them straight away in a video chat and fix it. The rhythm of the way you communicate. If I'm regular meetings, if I've got a client meeting that he needs to be part of, we book that in. If we've got urgent stuff, there's a way to communicate as well. He in fact trains me too. We recently swapped out CRMs and went from one to another. And he's created a series of videos of how to put a new client in, how to create a deal, how to do whatever. So he's now training me on stuff. Kind of works after a while. It's a very symbiotic relationship where we both work with each other. It starts out, again, they are on your team. They just don't happen to sit in the office with you. You wouldn't not speak to a client. You wouldn't expect a team member. You would not speak to them. You wouldn't expect them to do it all on day 0. Just ease them in like any other employee.
Yeah, it's so refreshing to hear because I too see so much benefits with them. Like I find because a lot of people worry about their language and communication, and I just don't see any of that because I've just been able to reap the benefit of it. So do you find them hard to understand, or all those common beliefs at different time zone, how to communicate, or any of those myths that you think is out there? Like, what can you say about that?
I've chosen not to unleash Reggie with voice calls to clients. I get him to draft an email and I'll edit it because his language is ever so slightly different. It's like 85% perfect. Mm-hmm. I didn't employ him to ring clients and do any work on that front. That's not his job. And I recognize that I'd rather hold that close to my chest. Language, we joke together, we laugh together. Every Monday I go, how's COVID going over there? Are you still in lockdown? I can see by his background, he hasn't been to his office since like March last year. I can hear the fan because the temperature's hot over there. And we have outages with the internet and storms that come through. And I go onto the Bureau of Meteorology or whatever the website, and I look at the typhoons that are coming. We just become not so much buddies, but work colleagues. I forget your original question.
My question is like, I guess there's any
language difficulties. No.
Yeah, things like that, working with them. And how about the loyalty? Considering he's been with you for 6 years, like, how are you able to keep him staying for so long? Do you think?
I don't know.
They're different.
I don't know. I've never asked him if he's looking elsewhere or wants to go elsewhere. It's almost we've got enough systems built up that if he did leave, the handover would be relatively easy anyway. I don't know why he stays, but he just does. He just turns up every week. He's there,
What I can say is that with Filipino VAs that I've worked with, they treasure their job a lot more. It's really about, as long as they feel respected, getting paid on time, they don't have to stress about, the simplest thing is just being paid for the work they've done. And that is pretty much what they expect, as long as you don't treat them like, because they are expected to be treated like they're more inferior than others. I've seen the culture where bosses are higher and kind of talk down. And then when you just talk, as you said, work colleagues, friends, that's already enough for them to want to stay, to go, this is a comfortable place to be, because I don't feel like I'm belittled. So that is kind of my experience. If you could look back at the years that you've worked with VAs and imagine if you never had him, if you never had a VA, what would business look like for you? This
may sound awful, but I think of myself as a global citizen, not a citizen of Australia or New South Wales. The awful part is I'm not paying someone $60,000 a year to run my back office for me and hiring extra office space, and whether she or he is here or not today, or all of that, paying probably quarter of that bigger number, maybe a little bit more. And so if you can get over the issue of not hiring someone locally, but I know I'm paying good money to a young man who's living a really, really good life in the Philippines, I look at it that way.
Yeah, totally. I would always recommend that it's not about taking the jobs away from local people. Have a good plan. Like, if you wanted to hire someone to start doing phone calls for you, dealing with clients, you would probably hire a local person, right? Yeah. So there's always a spot, but it's just about, now that you know what a VA is, you want to make sure that they do what they do best at the cost that you can pay them, and the local people do what they do best, like strategy, etc., right? Not really taking any jobs away from anyone. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Simon, for sharing with us. I learned a lot about how you've used a VA, and I'm glad that you're a fan of VAs like me.
Big fan, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like help to hire a VA for your business, I would love to invite you to book a free discovery call with us. We can help answer all the questions you have about VAs and help you determine what tasks a VA can help you with. Now, see you again in the next video.